Exactly. We would be able to feel it all the way up here. You feel it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are gonna talk about the... What are we gonna talk about? So I think it's really important that we are really aware about how we treat our hips and how we move and how we stretch and how we strengthen our muscles around the hips. Give the hips a little bit more attention and try to answer the questions why we want to do different kinds of exercises and movements in relation to our badminton play. Me and Martin are gonna do some hip exercises, and I'm gonna talk a bit about what the hips are responsible for when we are moving around playing badminton. So first off, if I'm standing like this, every time I'm moving in one direction, I'm actually using my hips. So this movement here and forward and backwards, rotation outwards and inwards. This is all the work of the hips. So it's really important that we are really strong and we are really mobile in our hips. And so we are gonna do a couple of exercises to target the hips and target the mobility. It's a good idea to just be a little bit dynamic in our movements, because in badminton we want to be mobile, so we want to go into a deep position and then return explosive back again. So let's say we take an elastic band and its ability to come back to its own position, we want to maintain that. So if we only do the static stretches, we'll be really flexible. The elastic band's ability to come back to its original position will be slower because the elastic band will be more loose. But we don't want to only train our flexibility, because then we will be really flexible but really slow on the court, and we don't want that. Okay, we still want to come back and be explosive each time we come out in a position and we recover to a corner. So this is why it's really important that we do the mobility exercises and not only the flexibility. We always did this when I was a youth player, and I was just like, okay, let's get on with this because I want to move on to something more funny. But then later on I realized that this one is actually starting to hurt my hips. Like, I can really feel it now, and I was always neglecting this exercise. And make sure you do this exercise, especially for the warm-up. It's a really nice dynamic warm-up exercise, really simple, really good. Yeah, so make sure you do this one every time you play badminton. Yeah, make sure we straighten our legs like this, all the way, straight body, only hips are moving, head is at the same place all the time. Here, and we just slowly move our knee towards the ground here. Just slowly, see if we can loosen up our hips. Like this. We do it 10 to 20 times. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So we have this one. So we sit up like this. We straighten one leg here, and we take the other leg, we bend it, and we try to keep our glutes on the mat here, and then we rotate inwards and take the knee towards here. And it doesn't matter if it touches the ground, you would be able to feel it around the hips here. So we're doing the inwards rotation here, and make sure both of the glutes are touching, so we don't raise our hips in order to touch the mat. This, and really try to straighten your back so we don't lean back here. have a nice posture always with the lower part of the back, so we protect our spine, like so. Let's continue with the rotations and the inwards rotations. So this one is a little bit more difficult, a bit more advanced compared to the last one. So now we go sit like this. And if this one is really difficult, we can point the toes more outwards, then we have more space for our legs and in our hips here. And from here we take the knee and we move it towards the mat like this without moving our hips. Okay, so our hips remain at the same position like this. If this position is too difficult to be in, you can also sit on a chair. Okay, wait. Okay, I got a chair here. Okay. So let's say it's too difficult. You can sit like this and you can move in like this. Okay, next one. Still the rotation of the hip. So we take one leg in front of us and we bend the other leg like this, and we try to square up our hips like this. And it's important we don't use our upper body, but we try to use our lower body to get in this position like this here. Okay, and if you come all the way like this, you can do that. Here it's important that we have our hips low here and squared off if it's possible. Otherwise we just try to move into this position like this. So we have a little bit of hip rotation on our leading hip here, leading leg, and we have a little bit of hip extension here in our hip flexors here in the front. We also want to target those. Okay, see if you can get this one leg like this. Let's move on to our adductors here. So our adduction movement is each time we take our leg and we move it inwards like this. So it's each time we are going out in a, what do you call it, in a side shuffle, in a chassé, and then we take our legs back. So we move our legs together. We are using these adductors here, so we want to stretch these. Let's move on to this one, the butterfly. Okay, we probably all know this. So I take my hands like this, I grab my toes, and I make sure I put my heels towards myself, straighten my back. I'm just gonna sit like this here. In this position, relax the shoulders, chest forward, look forward, and we just move our knees up and down, like so.
Very stiff in this one.
Okay, good. We make sure we breathe. Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's a good one, and you would definitely feel it if you're doing this at home. Okay, so I am putting my knees to the side like this, and I'm putting my legs as well out here. Boom, like this. Then we take our hips and we move back. Last one, let's target the abductors. So the adductors is moving our legs towards each other, and the abductors is moving our legs outwards. Each time we do the side shuffles, we are moving our legs outwards like this, okay? So let's see if we can target these, stretch them out a bit. So I stand with the weight on my right foot to start with. I move the left leg across and a little bit forward. I'm gonna do it from this position so we can see it like this here. So I have space enough to make my hip, square my hips up like this. Now we have all the weight on the front foot. So we have all the weight on this foot, and from this position here, we want to square the hips Move the hips out this way, so you move the hips out this way and the upper body out this way. So come up like this, move the hips out like this, weight on this foot. Exactly. We would be able to feel it all the way up here. You feel it?
Yeah.
Good. Do this, hip out like this, square the hips. This is really important. This. And we can move it, do a little bit this, make some dynamic movements here, and then end up with a stretch. So even though I'm sitting on a chair, I can feel this a lot. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna cut this out. Oh. Oh. So this means that each time we are side shuffling like this, we... Okay.